Hi everyone, Todd Morgano from Zero.G.Strategy, and today I want to talk about the power of journalistic thinking in the world of business. You have to stop thinking like a journalist if you're going to succeed in this job. That's what I was told years ago by someone when I switched careers to work in PR and marketing. And I'm here to tell you that was lousy advice. Yeah, I had a lot to learn about how businesses operated and communicated. But the most successful work I've done over my career often happened because I relied on my journalistic instincts. Seeing things from all sides, asking good questions, pushing back on assumptions, and by far, most importantly, getting to the heart of a story. In journalism, nothing gets to the heart of a story quite like a good headline. Now, it would be easy to dismiss headline writing as an antiquated activity, something that only applies to news. But boy, does it apply in business too. Because what is a headline really? It's a succinct, provocative distillation of an entire story. And guess what? So is a brand, or an ad, or the hook of a blog or social media post, the main point of an investor presentation, or a sales and staff meeting. It's not just the line itself. It's the whole way you think about your story. Writing a great headline isn't about dazzling people with clever wordplay. It's about honoring their time. A good headline acts as an invitation. If it's confusing or boring, people are going to walk by and move on. If it's riveting, you've got them. So today I want to share what makes a good headline and how it can be used to do what all businesses strive to do, and that's get people to stop in their tracks and pay attention. Let's start with the anatomy of a great headline. These are the non-negotiables. 6 to 12 words, that's it. And it has to be crystal clear. No ambiguity whatsoever. Anybody should be able to read it and understand fully what it means. It has to capture the essence of everything else in the story that follows. And the biggest one of all, does it spark curiosity and give the people you're trying to reach a reason to care right now? If your headline doesn't meet those criteria, trash it and start over. And you should be starting over, a lot. I'd say a good rule, maybe 50 headlines to tweak and rewrite, to try out before you get a good one. And to start out, you can ask yourself, if the person I'm trying to reach only remembers one thing about my story, what would I want that to be? In plain English, no jargon, no superlatives, no adjectives, no chest beating or bragging, only one thing they'd really care about that would really matter to them. I found that the fundamental difference between corporate writing and journalism often comes down to this. Businesses write to explain themselves mostly. Journalists write to satisfy a reader's curiosity. And too often when companies tell their stories, they lead with their products or all the wonderful things they do that they want the world to know about. And that's a lot less effective than thinking about what people care about and then finding a way to wrap your story around it. What you need to do is shift your focus from a company activity mindset to a what's my customer's urgent problem mindset. Now here's an example of the prior and the latter. Start out with an example of a headline. You see these all the time. Company X announces its new website architecture services to scale its revolutionary B2B solutions for clients. Right? A better approach would be why most B2B websites lose 30% of their leads in the first 3 seconds and how Company X is going to change that. If what you're doing or communicating isn't changing something for someone or the industry, rethink it. Do you need to say it? I'd also recommend the fresh eyes test. Journalists get to work with editors every day because we know that as the author, you lose having that, outsider's perspective. And that's where an editor comes into play. They see your story with fresh eyes and from the reader's vantage point. And this allows them to notice holes or zero in on what doesn't make sense about the headline or your story if it isn't clear. If you don't work with professional editors, take whatever you've written or created and give it to a colleague, or better yet, someone who's not a colleague, and just say, hey, read this. Tell me what it's about, and would you have wanted to read it if I hadn't just asked you to? If it can't pass that simple test, it's back to the drawing board. So, strange as it may sound, and antiquated as it may sound, I think the process that goes into great headline writing is more important today than ever because of how much information you and your business need to cut through to stand out today. It also has another benefit. Writing a headline and going through that process, it forces you to really think about your business. What's most important? Whether the way you describe yourself is easy to get right away, whether you're focused on the more important aspects of your business. You know, a headline is just a handful of words at the end of the day, but they do some pretty heavy lifting. Those words and the ideas behind them are often what's bridging the gap between you and your customers or employees or anyone else who's important to you. All right. Well, thanks for spending a few minutes with me. And as always, if you want to talk more about this subject or any of the other subjects on this channel, reach out.